is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
Brought to you by Champion Salon and Barber. You like this right here? Right there, Champion Salon and Barber. Fantastic what they do. 2 locations here in Waco. Look them up. Great things they do. They do unbelievable. Like, they convinced me to grow a beard and then have kept it looking pretty sharp. So
nice.
There you go. Champion Salon and Barber. There's one just a stone's throw from our studio right here in downtown Waco. All right, top 5 things that teams need to work on. And by teams, this is a broad thing. Number 5, the refs in the Penn State-Auburn game, counting to 4. They need to work on that.
Remember Colorado?
Oh, yeah.
And Missouri in
fifth down, right?
Is it 89?
Yeah.
89 or 90?
Yeah.
I think it's 89, maybe 89 or 90.
This is what is upsetting about replay. Now, part of the problem with replay, and a lot of people don't know this, is that most of the replay officials are old officials who cannot move around on the field anymore. Well, sometimes, and I don't mean to cast aspersions on the elderly people because I hope I'll be elderly one day, but if you can't run, you also don't see all that well anymore either, so there are problems with that. And I'm not trying to be ageistic here, but...
Yeah, you are. You're picking on us old people.
No, but I'm just saying that that's a bit of an issue. But here's the problem with replay on both levels of college and pro football, is that they've not figured out how to use it perfectly when everyone in the world watching can know what's going on. And this was easy. Rewind the tape, count the downs. And they still got it wrong.
Okay, how many officials are there? I don't even know, 5, 7, 8, whatever, in a big boy game. You have that. You have the guy who's doing the yard markers. You have the guy that has the down and distance. You have coaches on your staff. It's hard to imagine that happened, but that happened a long time ago, and it's happened here 30 years later.
Yeah, at least they're winning a national championship riding on it, you know.
No, and it was, and I know Missouri fans are still dying over that, and Colorado fans, hey, it's part of the deal.
You know, as Paul said, you know, there are a lot of older refs or whatever. I don't give a damn how old you are. I don't care how bad your eyesight is. There are no excuses to mess that call up. There are zero excuses. I don't care if you've been doing it for 50. Whoops, my bad. No, there ain't no my bad, brother. This is a game that there's a lot riding on. This is your job today. I don't care that you like mow lawns 6 other days a week and whatever. No, there are no chalking up mistakes here, especially when it can be corrected.
I don't think they're mowing lawns, but I understand what you're saying.
In line and make the right call, because that very well could have cost them a game that launches them into a whole nother type of season versus if they lose that game and it turns out an entirely different way.
Thank God it didn't cost them.
But yeah, thank God it didn't cost them. But like, there's no excuse for that. Like, I can human error and all that stuff. I don't want it to be like all computers and everything like that. But we've been doing this long enough now with enough technology. There are no more excuses for officials outside of just
other than the speed of the game.
Yeah, other than debating like
the judgment call.
That's a fact. Exactly. Yeah. Other than a judgment call, which is different for. This is a rule. There are 3 downs, 4 downs. Like, that's inexcusable. I don't care what the excuses are.
Number 4, Clemson. Their offense is.
Their offensive line's a mess, and it's hard to imagine. You know, you look at all the bells and whistles. They've been so amazing. Their slowest start offensively, I think, since 2014, and they may have been in the playoff that year too. But yeah, they do look look anemic.
They're staring down Georgia Tech in the red zone, actually inside the 10-yard line at the end of the game with a chance to lose a game to Georgia Tech, who might be improving, but you have no business losing to if you're Clemson.
But because their only loss is Georgia, and because I know the conference they're in is very weak right now, if they somehow manage, because of their overall talent level, what happens at the end of the year if they have 1 loss, and that's to Georgia?
They're still in the playoff.
The beauty pageant would still, yes.
Well, it would be like Jeff Long, who would say, game control.
Yeah.
Game control is why they should be ready. Or no, time zones.
Yeah.
They had to travel 3. Yeah. Those were actual excuses made for their rankings in year number 1, was game control and time zones.
Yeah, or how they look coming off the bus.
All right. Number 3, Florida, and they got bailed out in this, but special teams, kick returner after an Alabama touchdown, their offense bailed them out of this on an epic 99-yard drive. But Fair goes to Fair catch the ball. It bounces off his hands. It bounces in the end zone and out to the 1-yard line. And then he did this.
Yeah, like the hell with it.
Dan Mullen was going to eat his liver. It was, oh man. But Emory Jones in the offense bailed him out, and that's actually what started Florida's rally was that actual play. But got to get that taken care of.
Alabama's defense got tired because they're on the field a lot. They were giving up not a bunch of passes, but rushing yardage. They got tired.
Yeah. Number 2, Ohio State. That defense, I'm going to keep harping on it. It was not great. They won 40-21 over Tulsa. They should do that. Tulsa, by the way, has covered, I think, 12 or 13 times in a row against top 10 opponents.
Really?
Dude, they've had a hell of a hard time to the season to start off with. They're like 0-4 now, but they played.
Had a hell of a year last year, too.
They have. But Ohio State, I mean, they've got flaws, man. And, this is what they've got. There's no transfer portal magic coming their way. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm sure we'll see them mix some things up to try to find that spark, but it is a concern.
Matt Barnes became the play caller.
Yeah.
He went down to the field. Kerry Combs, who was the defensive coordinator, who's not making just a couple $100,000 a year, he went back to the booth.
Yep.
They still had some issues, but they're kind of, that's Ryan Day's not waiting around.
Do you remember, I think I might have brought that up in Off the Radar or something like that, where they were looking at the possibility of making a change. And, they did make a change last week, so we'll see how that goes.
At number 1, Florida State. Everything.
Oh, man.
They need to work on every single thing.
We sure talk about a team that is struggling a lot.
Just had to
but
get
I'm
that
the one that
shot
brought
in.
up the girl on campus
I had to
saying
get that shot in.
Jack, do you still have – I know it's late. But you still have
so
that.
we can talk about Nebraska more if you want.
And it
Smokey.
goes – but it goes into, if you watched any of the game, Mike Norvell's body language is troubling in that he might know that he's bitten off more than he can chew.
Well, I hate it for him. I do. I really do. This is how FSU is going to turn around their football season. We open with this. Young women in Tallahassee, please stop having sex with FSU football players when they approach you. Act like you don't know who they are. When they tell you they're from they play for FSU, ask them if they play basketball. And when they say football, say, ooh, and walk away. I bet we see a change. That's from Smooch.
So if Smooch and friends actually followed up on this, the worst year ever at Florida State's has gotten even worse because there's nothing to look forward to.
Yeah.
But, they are not very good. I don't know how Norvell turns this thing around. What do you do? I've seen people, hire this coordinator or that coordinator. Like, I don't think that matters that much.
It's a bigger problem than that.
I agree. I agree totally. And they're in a bad way, man.
All right, they are. And Nebraska football, I thought would get smoked. I thought they at least showed something. The problem is they'll turn around and lose in East Lansing to Michigan State, and they're headed for another year without a bowl game 5 in a row. But they played. I thought I liked what I saw. The problem is they're still a dumb football team. Jack McKenzie, great stuff today. Paul Catalina, great stuff with the top 5 that ended up.